So Jake Paul, you're familiar with Jake Paul?
I don't think so. Who is that?
So
Well, you're like the one guy in America who isn't though at this point. You don't know Logan Paul or Jake Paul?
No.
The blonde guys who are boxing everyone?
you're being sarcastic.
I swear to God, I'm not.
You just said you were a UFC guy.
I'm not a UFC guy.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm not actually.
Do you recognize this character?
Okay.
Oh, yes. I think I recognize the
So,
face.
so
gotcha.
Jake Paul, who is setting up all these fights,
Okay.
and his brother has said before that he has aspirations to be a president one day. Jake Paul comes out, which, by the way, these guys have never talked politics before. They're not would you agree, they're not necessarily a political brothers where they're going out there saying stuff about politics. But yesterday he puts out this tweet. Can you put that up there? He says, Biden's accomplishments, highest gas prices, worst inflation, plummeting crypto prices, highest rent prices ever, created new incomprehensible language, which many people don't speak. If you're reading this and voted for Biden and you still regret it and you still don't regret it, then you are the American problem.
That could literally be a Gad Saad tweet.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm
now-
already a fan of this guy.
Well, we just introduced you to this guy named Jake Paul.
Jake Paul.
So
Okay.
Jake, meet Gad, Gad, meet Jake. What do you think about what he said, Tyler? What do you think about it?
I mean, I
Yeah, I mean,
agree with it
obviously
pretty
it
wholeheartedly.
hurts your feelings. You don't like this kind of stuff, but
I think it's interesting that you're seeing such a revolt against Joe Biden, specifically from the influencer community. Like, there were a few rappers that came out in 2020 that were wearing MAGA hats. You're seeing the Paul brothers come out. Like, you're seeing, or at least Jake Paul, rather. You're seeing this pushback on the far left, the progressives, against their policies and their ideologies. And to your point about the academy, I mean, that's why it's so important that Jake Paul does this, or Gad Saad, or you, or Joe Rogan, that we're doing what we're doing, because yes, the academy is great. Like, that's a wonderful idea. But we have to have a full-blown cultural revolution. I mean, like full on, like we had in the 60s. Because even if Donald Trump wins the election or Jordan Peterson wins PM in Canada, it doesn't make a difference, because the tentacles are so far wrapped around the institutions that it doesn't matter what you do. Think about Lisa Page, Carter Page and Lisa Strzok, or whoever it was, the FBI agents that were actively campaigning against Donald Trump. I mean, it's the FBI, the DOJ, HHS, everybody. It doesn't matter. And so Donald Trump wins. What's he going to do? He's going to rule by executive order and be a tyrant? I mean, that doesn't work. So I think it's wonderful to see this, and it's wonderful to see the younger generation, or at least some of them, start to wake up and realize what's going on. Because, the teaching a select group of people how to be leaders is great in theory, and it's probably what we need. But more so than that, we need a real cultural revolution.
you know, I feel that way about guns. I feel that way about guns. You know how they're saying there's been 246 mass shootings this year so far. And by the way, there was another one potentially yesterday. You heard about that, right? What happened yesterday in Texas?
I did not.
No, where
You
was
hear
that?
about this? A guy walked into, maybe this morning or yesterday, but the guy walks into a school class with a gun, and they got him.
Oh, the school resource officer shot him. Yeah,
the school resource officer shot him. So with all these mass shootings that they're talking about, yesterday we were talking about you and Michael Francis, and the conversation was about, well, you know, what about the idea that Matthew McConaughey pitched, right? Raise the age, automatic background check, you know, and certain weapons you can't have, and, you know, how many magazines you can. All these things that they're pitching. And at the end, I said, okay, even if we do that and you move that in, that only prevents 5% to 10% of the mass shootings. That doesn't prevent the majority of mass shootings. So, Tyler, can you mute so even if you do that, you're getting still, the issue's not going to go away. It needs to be more of a long-term cultural change where, you know, every other channel is turning these guys into heroes, where all of a sudden the next person wants to rise up and do it again. So I think it's more values and principles. To your point, I think it's more values and principles. But for a guy like Jake Paul to make that comment, for Jake to tweet that out, it makes no sense. I can't see Jake saying something like that. But for him to say it, he's got a lot of young followers that follow him. I mean, look at that. How many likes did he get? 156,000 likes that he got. That means 156. And by the way, it is his most liked tweet ever, I believe, on the amount of likes that he gets. And most of his followers are younger people to agree with that. This is a guy that's got 20. Look at his YouTube channel, how many subscribers he's got.
Wow.
Yeah, that's this guy, okay, that he made a comment like that. 20.4 million subscribers. So I agree with you that long term, but I also think the academy part is more a longer term thing, where, like, even secret societies. What secret society still exists today?
I would argue
What secret society
What
still
secret
exists?
society still exists today? Do they have the power that they once had?
what the World Economic Forum Young Leaders Foundation.
You say that's a secret society.
I mean, they produced. Justin Trudeau came out of there. There's a ton of political leaders that have come out of the Klaus
Was that
Schwab.
a secret though?
I mean, it's not. What do you mean by secret? I mean, there's only 15 or
Freemason
20
is a
people.
secret
that-
society,
that's
but it's
what I
not a
was thinking
secret.
of, yeah.
Freemason is how many presidents were former Freemason? What's the number they talk about? 13 or 14, right? Skull and Bones, secret
Yeah.
society.
That's from Yale, right?
That's from Yale. You got it. The Illuminati is more like a Hollywood thing, or the whole thing that they do. Does it exist? Does it not exist? Whatever. But there's certain secret societies. But the outcome here is to develop leaders that those are the presidents. Look at this, Freemason presidents.
Wow.
People that were Masonic presidents of the United States. What's the number?
Washington, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe. It's 15. Polk, Buchanan, Johnson, Garfield, McKinley.
FDR is a part of it.
Teddy Roosevelt, Taft, FDR, and Truman.
What's the distribution of Republicans and Democrat in that list? Do you have
Well,
that?
none of them,
FDR?
because there's 0 Republicans there, because the first Republican was Lincoln.
Yeah.
So these are all federal, these are all
right,
like
yes.
original
Yeah.
type of a.
Well, FDR is
No, yeah, he's a
He'd be
Democrat.
Democrat.
And then
Yeah.
who's on the bottom right? That guy's a Republican.
Truman.
Democrat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
FDR, Democrat. So
There we go.
But again,
Can you pull back up the Jake Paul tweet? I got some feelings on that.
go for it. Share your thoughts.
Well, what, you were going to say something?
No, go ahead.
Well, look, I'm going to remove the person from the statement because the person is an absolute troll, clown, some may call him. Some may call him one of the most hated men in America, but he does get eyeballs. So I'm going to remove the troll, clown part.
This is the MMA guy?
Exactly. Well,
Okay.
no, the boxer, YouTuber, influencer,
Yeah.
troll, clown. You would agree he's an all-time troll. Internet troll.
He's a great troll.
Right.
He's a great troll. He knows how to
And-
get under people's skin.
And I'm not even saying troll in a bad way. He stirs
Sure.
the pot.
Yeah,
He's a pot
absolutely.
stirrer. Okay.
Absolutely.
But as someone who has voted for Biden, he's basically saying, "Hey, buddy, what does he say? If you read this and you voted for Biden, and you still don't regret it, then you're part of the American. You're part of the American problem." Here's what I will say: I'm not fixated on. I'm a Democrat and that's it. I'm going to stand behind my man. No, at some point, and this is for everyone: left, right, middle, center, blue, yellow, red, green, whatever. At some point, you have to be like, shit, maybe I was wrong. I don't know. Maybe I thought he was going to do a better job than he is. I don't like this. I had a conversation with my mom last night, and I was like, I was taking notes, and I was like, Mom, how much do gas prices need to go up for you to vote for Trump? I would never. I would think he's disgusting. What a horrible human. I go, but Mom, look, my mom does not have a lot of money, I go, well, $5? Yeah, I'd still vote. $10? Well, that's $20? And she's like, well, I don't like, So you can see kind of her wrestling with her mind. But this is why I'm full-on independent at this point. I mean, thank you, PBD Podcast. Thank you, Valuetainment, for basically saying, all right, Adam, you're no longer a quote-unquote Democrat. I think and by the way, I don't identify as a Republican either. I don't think a lot of the things that Trump has done or even the McConnells of the world have done are exactly something I can get behind. But I think this is the advantage of just being independent and open-minded. Because at some point, a lot of people who voted for Trump, no matter what he did, I could sit there and shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and I still wouldn't lose a vote. Well, that's a fucking problem. If you're just going to vote for somebody who shoots somebody on Fifth Avenue, that's my guy. At the same time, Jake Paul does have a point here. At what point, when there's a recession and gas prices, inflation, do you have to question what you've always thought?
So can I come in with some hardcore science here?
Sure.
So as someone who studies psychology of decision making, one of the things that we study is what's called the anchoring and adjustment problem. When you anchor yourself in a position,
Correct.
What does it take for me to be able to move you away from that position?
I assume that's very hard to do.
It's very, very, very hard to
Yes.
do. And so this, not to engage in shameless plugging, but in chapter 7 of the Parasitic Mind, I offer a methodology for precisely doing that. Can I share it with you guys?
Please.
So in chapter 7, I talk about how to seek truth, right? And part of seeking truth is that when incoming evidence comes in that is contrary to your position, you should have the epistemic humility to change your opinion.
Most people do not have that.
People don't have that. So here's what I propose. There's something called nomological networks of cumulative evidence. Now, it's a big mouthful, so let me break it down for you. Let's suppose I wanted to prove to you that toy preferences are not socially constructed. Right? Most social scientists think that the reason why we have the gender roles that we do is because your parents are sexist pigs. They teach little Johnny to play with the truck. They teach little Linda to play with the Barbie doll. And that starts a cascade of gender role specialization. Okay? I want to prove to you that no sex-specific toy preferences are rooted in our biology, are rooted in our evolutionary history. How would I go about altering your position? So very much like Jake Paul is saying, what does it take for you to alter your position on Biden? I'm saying, how could I convince you of my position? And so it's a very, very powerful methodology. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find as much data sources, as much lines of evidence, distinct lines of evidence that will hopefully sway you away from your position. Let me give you examples.
Sure.
So I can get you data from developmental psychology where children are too young to have been socialized, and I can show you that those children already exhibit those sex-specific toy preferences. In other words, they can't verbalize why they like this, but they will go towards the truck or the doll. So that already negates the possibility that it's due to socialization because they're too young to have been socialized. So that's box one. I can get you data from vervet monkeys and rhesus monkeys and chimpanzees, other species where their infants also exhibit the same sex-specific toy preferences as human infants. That's the second box. I can get you data from sub-Saharan Africa, different societies, not Western societies, and I can show you that their children exhibit the exact same toy preferences. I'll just do one or two more, although the network is much bigger. I can get you data from 2,500 years ago from ancient Greece, where on funerary monuments, the children are depicted playing with exactly the same toys as we see today. And then one final kicker, I can get you data from pediatric endocrinology, whereby little girls who suffer from congenital adrenal hyperplasia, it's a disorder that masculinizes their behavior. Little girls who have that disorder will have toy preferences akin to those of little boys. So look what I've done. Bit by bit, I have put the epistemological noose around your neck because I'm giving you data from across cultures, across time periods, across species, across disciplines, all of which triangulate to my position. Now, you'd like to think that someone is honest enough that if they see all that tsunami of evidence, they will then be swayed. But here's the bad news. Even with that much evidence, most people put their hands in their ears and go, la, 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 I don't want to hear it. Anchoring.
Yeah.
So what Jake Paul, notwithstanding that you guys are saying he's a troll and so on, he's actually he's actually espousing a very deep point, which is the architecture of our human mind is not structured to change our position. We are built not to seek truth, but to win arguments. And therefore, I don't want to hear about your contrary evidence. I'm sticking to my guns.
This is why people want to live in echo chambers and only just listen to news that they agree with.
Exactly.
But the good news, based on the scientific breakdown right now, I'm full on MAGA at this point. Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
But what you just said, Adam, good for you for sharing where you're at and what Jake is saying for you to say, okay, cool. Here's kind of what I'm seeing. And the conversation I had with your mom yesterday, and you said, what happens here? This is what I've said, and I've been saying this for a while after a conversation Tom Ellsworth and I had, is the middle runs America. Period.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't need to win the left. You don't need to win the right. You need to win the middle.
Yeah.
If the middle sides with you, you're going to win the election.
Right.
So, for example, if the middle is 12%, if 80% to 12% is going to vote for you, you're winning.
Right.
Not Republican, not Democrat. If 80% the middle votes for you, you're going to win the election.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.